Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and I've been teasing that I'm going to talk about this amazing deck that Crazy has created for several days. It was in both the video on Sunday and the video on Monday as almost features. We're going to do a full feature on it today, but that's not the deck I'm most excited to talk about. But has created a Mr. Negative deck that is the coolest Mr. Negative deck I have straight up ever seen. I'm absolutely, legitimately in love with that list. Let's get started, though, with the focus on this Crazy list that I've played a lot of with a really, crazy high cube rate, like a 0.75 cube rate in reasonably high infinite. I was sitting around top 600, then I didn't play for a few days, I fell down to 800. I'm sitting around that general area, but I've got like a 0.7 cube rate and a 58-59% win rate with this list. For this list, you can replace Cassandra Nova if you miss her with Nocturne, Red Guardian, or Rogue. I would not replace the other high series cards here. I think that Loki is amazingly key to the deck, as are Ravonna Renslayer, Sage, who are here in combination, and of course White Widow and Hawkeye. This is a clog list, and White Widow and Hawkeye are now the twos that Clog really wanted for so long that they didn't have, while Sage is the biggest power thing you can do at the end of a game. Alright, if you would like to see gameplay from this, you can find Crazy Snap on Twitch, streaming under that name. Crazy was the #1 player on the Infinite leaderboard in both the March and April seasons, and hasn't really grinded for #1 since, is currently sitting in the top 5 with this list. This list did hit #1. Alright, so Crazy says this is his best brew ever. This is his favorite deck that he's ever created. Turn 1, you pass. Turn 2, Ravonna is better than Kate. You'll play Widow if there's nothing else, but you'd much rather Ravonna or Kate. Turn 3, Goblin or Widow and Titania. If you went Ravonna, you can Goblin and Titania or Widow and Titania, ideally clogging a lane. You can also play Loki. Cool. You can be a little bit more free with that Titania, because if you mess up, you always have your Killmonger here. You'd rather not have to Killmonger your own Titania, but against things like Zoo, you sometimes just end up doing so. Turn 4 is the same basic thing as turn 3, or you can drop Dr. Octopus. Be forewarned, turn 4 is often the Loki turn. We'll talk about why later on, but you want to try and get a little clog going so that you can Loki and then have some cheaper stuff. So turn 4 is generally speaking when I'd Loki. The other reason to do so is the Loki-Cassandra Nova interaction. Generally speaking, you want them to Cassandra Nova before you Loki. Turn 5 is Dr. Octopus and Titania, if you still have Titania. If not, you would have played Dr. Octopus on turn 4. And then turn 6 is Sage or Shang-Chi with Shadow King. Cool. Right after this is going to be the best Mr. Negative deck I've ever played. Not the best arishem deck I've ever played. The best Mr. Negative deck I've ever played in Marvel Snap. But one last look at this list. This is a very cool list. It's currently sitting at number 3 on the Infinite leaderboard. Number 1 is a deck we covered Friday. It's that Loki Marvel Boy list, is the current number 1 ranked list in Marvel Snap. Barzy and Derek are both playing it and trading off the number 1 spot between them. So if you're interested in that number 1 list, make sure you check Monday's video. This is number 3 in competition with that for number 1. It is extremely good at Clog, and then just has all the tools to win otherwise against fundamentally every matchup. It is even really good against Sandman. Sandman does not love getting their crap all clogged up, and if you can throw priority, and you should be able to throw priority, that Killmonger absolutely wrecks the Ultron. Hey, we're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of 2024, and a sub from you would really mean the world and really help us get there. Help us reach our goals. We'll give you 7 days a week of Marvel Snap videos with at least 3 new decks every single weekday. We're doing 4 decks all week. We do at least 7 videos a week. We're doing 8 this week because there's going to be an OTA later in the week. Hit that sub button. We got the best decks from the top players. You just saw a deck from Crazy Snap, who's an Eastern European player who's one of the best in the game, and then we're going to go into another crazy good deck from Butt, an American who's sitting in the top 5. Hit that sub button. We'll do our best. You don't even have to leave this page. Right below me, there's a little YouTube symbol right on your screen. If you click that, you can sub, so please do so. In addition, we do the biggest giveaways in Marvel Snap. If you're looking for the huge giveaway, it was announced in Sunday's video. We did 6 season passes. We do 1 a week for the rest of the season, so all you have to do at some point this video, I'm going to ask you a question. You answer that question in the comments, and as long as you're subbed, you're entered to win a season pass. One person will, at the end of this week, win a season pass from me. Next up, we are running Snap Judgments Alliances. We've got actually 15 alliances right now. If you'd like to join, all you have to do is join the Discord. If you're on the Patreon, even as a free member, you'll get priority joining. We're also running tournaments this Friday, so if you'd like to try out a tournament this Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, please make sure you're on the Discord. It is a completely free tournament. Usually tournaments are a perk of the $1 tier of the Patreon, but we're letting people try them out to see if they're interested. All right, the Mr. Negative butt deck that I'm in love with. This is a negative deck that is ridiculously consistent and does not need Mr. Negative. It can win with Mr. Negative. Of course it can win with Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative is one of the most powerful cards of the game in any deck that's built for him, right? But even without Negative, this can win. And you're looking at this going, well, but it loses to Sandman. This does not lose to Sandman. It's absolutely crazy how strong this is and how many different play patterns you have. I'm going to tell you what the Sandman play patterns are, as they're a little different, and the arishem play patterns are as well, because they are also a little different. All right, so Butt won the Snap Judgments League Season 2 with a very, very different list than this, but he is a champion of our league, and this deck in particular was inspired by a player named Splat, one of Butt's friends. Cassandra Nova can be Ironheart or Wolfsbane for this list, but while they're generally okay replacements, they are significantly worse and mess up your arishem. The others are required, but there's not an expensive deck here. Ravonna Renslayer is a Series 4 card, and Sage is a Series 5 card. So if you have those two cards, you can play this list. So this is, again, a very cheap list to get into. So this hit top 4, but isn't grinding an absolute ton, but just winning an absolute ton with this, because, again, this has play into fundamentally everything. Turn 1, you pass. Turn 2 is Ravonna or Psylocke into negative if possible. Turn 3, Cassandra, unless against arishem. Turn 4, you negative still if you can, but if you think they might be Sandman, you're perfectly fine wonging here. Turn 5, if you know you're not playing Sandman, you just Jane. If not, you can Mystique that Wong. Good. You can Mystique that Wong and play Iron Fist on that spot. You can also Sage and Iron Fist on this turn as necessary. All good so far? If you just Sage on that Wong, you're getting the double Sage trigger. Hopefully there's some other stuff in that lane. You're hitting the double Sage trigger, and you're getting ready for a giant Iron Fist. At that point, you Dagger and Taskmaster. Dagger being punched across 2 lanes will often gain, like, I mean, look, it could gain up to 24 power, but it often gains like 16 power, which you're then copying with Taskmaster. And remember, Ravonna is enabling you to do both of these at the same time. Ravonna is the most important card in the deck. You can Sage and Taskmaster, thank you, Ravonna, or you can just drop Iron Man and, sorry, not Ravonna's here, it's silly here, Iron Man and Mystique to go over the top. Any of these are fine. So I promised you I would explain how to play against Sandman. So against Sandman, you're going to want to get Ravonna and Wong down, right? And then you drop the Iron Fist Dagger a turn early, and then you just copy that with Taskmaster on the last turn. You can also, if you can get Wong into the right lane, especially if you have Ravonna and you know that those decks don't run Shang-Chi, you can go Mystique and Sage into a lane, right? And then you're getting like the 4 triggers on Sage or whatever silliness that is, and then you can just Taskmaster that to end the game. Either of those perfectly well beat Sandman, you just need the right pieces. The other thing that's important to note is against arishem. You can just play Wong and just chill, and then you can spend turn 5 playing, turn Wong, and if you can get Mystique, so much the better, but you don't need it. Turn 6, you play Cassandra Nova on the Wong and copy it with Taskmaster, as long as you have Ravonna out. You'll have to do that over 2 turns if you don't have the Taskmaster. Any of these are crazy, crazy power, right? Any of these win games. This list is awesome. It's just so cool. This is, again, the coolest Mr. Negative list ever, because it's a Mr. Negative list that's just trying to be mean-ass combo list. And of course, you just have Iron Man and Mystique. Like, you casually can just Sage normally, right? And then win games with, or you can Cassandra on curve and then drop an Iron Man or Mystique on that and still win that way. Next up, we're going to talk about the Stream Team. Then we're going to talk about my Day 1 Wiccan deck. When Wiccan comes out later today, or is out, depending on when you're watching this, this will be the Wiccan deck I try. All right, one last look at the Butt Negative list. Again, a million awesome combos. This is my favorite Mr. Is this the best Mr. Negative list ever in the game? I don't know. One hit with #1 on the Infinite Leaderboard, but this is my favorite Mr. Negative list ever. Ever, ever. Phenomenal list. Props to Butt for coming up with this. If you'd like to see gameplay for these decks, please check out the stream team. Gregor2424 will have some of these from yesterday. I gave him to him a little early, while Prashaun will have some Wiccan deck gameplay for you later today from yesterday's video. So it's mildly mixed up how Monday and Tuesday work. Every other day, people stream on Twitch the decks, and then the next day on their YouTube, they put up a video about whatever they liked best. So if you're interested, please do check out our friends, powered on by Power On Gaming. All right, Wiccan is the Spotlight card that comes out this week. He's a 4/7 on reveal if you spent all your energy this game, plus 2 max energy. Nope, this is one of the most mysterious cards ever. Yesterday, I did a full guide with a ton of detail. What I'm going to tell you right now is no one's quite sure how good this is, or how consistent this is, or exactly how this works. So we're going to have to wait and see. But I do know where I'm going to start with Wiccan, and again, check yesterday's video if you want a ridiculously long and thorough full guide about what all that means. But for now, the place I want to start is this Ajax bounce list, this Affliction bounce list. I think that this is going to be an absolutely wildly powerful list, largely because of Wiccan. I think this is a very good list right now, but I think Wiccan takes it over the top. What I did was I took a really good bounce list. I ran Cassandra Nova. I think Wiccan will make more sense in this list. Cassandra Nova is very good here, but not a requirement. It's just an arishem tech card for the most part, although it does have some synergy with Scorpion, meaning that only one card that they didn't play early will not have negative power, which is pretty good for Ajax, but you get the idea. I'd rather have Wiccan and be able to go Ajax Hazmat to end the game together and win that way. All right, so you can find me here at youtube.com/@SnapJudgmentsPod. Hit that sub button. It's literally, again, right below me, right down there, that YouTube button. Wiccan can be Cassandra Nova, or Hope, or Sage, or even Falcon without losing too much for this. Nico can be Iceman, or whatever one has an on-reveal, but you're going to need Hazmat, Kate, and Werewolf. You're going to need Ajax, Kate, and Werewolf. Good. Ajax is basically the big power of the deck. Kate Bishop is amazing with Werewolf. The more I play Kate Bishop with Werewolf, the more I realize how key going to Kate Bishop into 3 Werewolf is. It's damn near a snap condition all by itself. All right, so this is, again, where I'm starting with Wiccan. This will be the deck that I will be playing this afternoon when the card comes out. Turn 1 is Hood over Nico. Turn 2, I would generally play Scorpion over 2 1s. If you've hit both of those, congratulations, you've played a 1 and then a 2, and you've used all your energy. Turn 3, Werewolf. Guess what? We used all our energy. But hey, we don't always have Werewolf, right? When we don't have Werewolf, we can Viper over that Hood. We can play, that if we played 2 1s, we can play, we play Hawkeye. We can play 2 of those ones with another one of our 1s. We can, yeah, we have a million options to play all energy. Then turn 4, we'd like to play Wiccan. We can also start to bounce that Werewolf around with some of our cheaper cards and then beast it back. Turn 5, we have all the energy in the world. So we're going to move the Wolf, and then we're going to bounce, and then we're going to Ajax, Hazmat, and play everything else we can on turn 6. Yeah, this list is wildly cool, and I'm excited to try it. We're going to take one last look at it, and then after it, we're going to look at a bundle guide, and then we're going to look at the best Conquest deck by the stats according to Marvel Snap Zone stats currently. So one last look. This is, again, where I'm starting. I've been going back and forth on whether I want Viper in the list. Viper is very strong, not just for Hood, but as a card that answers a lot of the other clog. Maybe that Viper becomes Cassandra Nova, maybe not. Either way, a version of this is where I completely plan to begin with my journey into exploring how powerful Wiccan is. The other reason I might like Cassandra Nova is much easier to just play on 3 out cold. All right, the Ancestral Plane Portrait Bundle is super mediocre. 170 is basically the baseline for what they give us as a cash bundle. I like this variant. I think it's really gorgeous. David Mack is an awesome artist, but if you buy it, you're buying it for the variant. This is about what we would expect baseline from a cash bundle. As cool as Ancestral Plane Portrait is, unless Wiccan makes Black Panther meta, it's for a card you're probably not playing all that often, let's be honest. And in addition to not really often playing that card, you have a mediocre variance. A mediocre value bundle. Now, there is a possibility, we don't know this for sure, that Wiccan works in such a way as to sort of break Black Panther, but we have no way to know that. It's possible that if you can Wong on turn 4 and Wiccan on turn 5, even if you don't spend that extra energy, because it's the turn you're playing Wiccan, you're going to get +4 energy, which is going to give you 10 energy to end the game, which might let you be able to like Black Panther and then play a Taskmaster to copy it. Stuff like that is possible and doable. We don't know yet. It's possible Black Panther goes up in evaluation based on Wiccan, but for the time being, this is a variant for a card you're probably not going to play, and it's mediocre value as far as what we usually get for our money. Finally, we've got Den's Top of Conquest. On Friday, we featured a version of this that had like a little move package in it that Den created, and that version did not work for me. I played it, I lost a bunch of cubes, I gave up on it, I deleted it. I then uploaded this deck, and I've had a ton of success. I think this version is absolutely stellar. It ditches the move and just says, let's focus in on Werewolf and Junk, and it is so much the better for it. Once more, Kate Bishop into Werewolf is crazy, crazy strong, and thus we are building numerous decks around it. Den, again, has access to all the Marvel Snap Zone stats, pulled them. This is the current top winning Conquest deck according to Marvel Snap data. You can find Den at twitter.com/DenCCG. Selene, Spider-Ham, and Nico are all any good 1-drops there. Selene is just a way to get extra power when you hit either Hood or Green Goblin, not a requirement. Spider-Ham is, again, just a good tech card, and Nico's a good tech card. They can be any good ones with on reveal. Iceman, Korg, Elektra makes sense. Copycat can be Nocturne or Cassandra Nova, or Shang-Chi, or Juggernaut, or Shadow King. I am personally, I had a long conversation with Sizer about Bounce. Sizer's not our main Bounce player in our alliance. That's actually either Nobass Bounce Guy or .geo. But Sizer really likes Juggernaut with Werewolf by Night, and I think it's worth examining. So I might actually try this with Juggernaut in that Copycat spot for when the Clog doesn't fully come together. And then Cannonball can be Shang or Juggernaut as well. You do need Werewolf, though, and Kate. So this is, again, the best deck in Conquest this week. Turn 1, Selene over Hood over Hemp. Turn 2, Kate over or White Widow. You can set up a move, ignore the move thing. You want to play Kate, generally speaking. You can set up a bounce on turn 4 if you would like to semi-clog yourself and you know you're not playing against Clog. Turn 3 is Werewolf by Night. Turn 4 and 5 are Bounce or Clog. And then turn 5 is you replay stuff, you move that Werewolf, and then you drop that Cannonball to win a lane. Cannonball is really, really great at winning that last lane for you, especially because your Werewolf is sitting there at like 20 power, and they have a bunch of negative power stuff on the board. Super cool list. Juggernaut should, again, largely do the same freaking thing for you most of the time, as long as the whole board isn't clogged. And this list is good at clogging the whole board, but it's not all in on clogging the whole board, right? So there are potential changes there, things you can do to make it more effective, but it is winning an absolute ton right now in the metagame. Questions of the day, and then we head out of here. Summer Jams. Ask the cards I'm most excited for. I couldn't pick one. So Madame Web and Toxin are the cards I'm most excited for. Madame Web is a 2/3 with the ongoing. She's a September card. 2/3 with the ongoing. Once per turn, you can move a card away from her location, one of your cards. But that's incredibly strong for move decks. It's incredibly strong with Hercules. It's also just kind of like wildly strong as an anti-clog or just a where is my big power play. I think Madame Web is going to be a meta card, one of the best cards in the history of Marvel Snap, and I'm very excited for it. And Toxin is a card coming in the October season. It's in Symbiote. It's a 3/2 that returns all your other cards here to hand and gets 2 power for each. So Toxin basically becomes a 3/8 by bouncing a lane. That's awesome. Another bounce card, another 3-cost bounce card. I'm all about it. This seems to have amazing frickin' synergy with things like Werewolf by Night. It has amazing synergy with Black Swan. I'm super excited for it. Plus, it's a bounce card. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a big bounce fan. Nick Cope wants me to explain the Loki Cassandra Nova interplay. All right. So if you have priority and you play Loki and the opponent plays Cassandra Nova, well, that Cassandra Nova just got 11 power. So it's a 12 power Cassandra Nova, and it made all your cards -1 that you're going to draw for the rest of the game, right? That sucks. If they Cassandra Nova you on 3 and you don't have priority, right? Not only, like, Cassandra Nova is still going to be a 3/7 or whatever 3/7's her normal power. She's still going to have that 3/7 power, right? But none of your cards that you draw are going to be -1 because you just replaced that whole deck and drew a new card. So you would really like to, if you think your opponent's running Cassandra Nova, either throw Prio early or play Loki on turn 4. Ryan Wood asks if I've played Undertale, and I have, but I have a big problem with Undertale. It's a bullet hell, and I don't have the reflexes for a bullet hell, so I can't beat it. I've watched playthroughs. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Haven't actually made it through a whole playthrough. I've watched parts of playthroughs. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think if not for the bullet hell aspects, it would be one of my. It would be a game that's absolutely for me and one of my favorite games. I've listened to a million podcasts on it. I've watched videos on it, so on and so forth. But I don't have the reflexes for a bullet hell, so I can't play it, which royally sucks, I guess, right? Props to Undertale as a game, though, and I wish I could get into it. Sorry. Alright, if you're interested, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. We'd really, really appreciate the support, and certain tiers of support come with on-air thanks. So I'd like to say thank you to Abigail Kiesland, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, Matt H., Regardless, David G. Wingfield, Dire Wolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, I lost my place. Good Dog Gamer, Deuce Vault, Inc., I Am Frostman, Jay Never Eats, Corwin, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Caretix Lee, Koire, Pyrofros, The Goat Seeker, Den Man Falcon, Quid Pro Joe, Docty, Fat Nick, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, X-Force V and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Snap Judgments League Season 1, The King of Bros, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Kev C. Hoda, Luna Chris, Quantum Quinn, John Q, Clam, 8th Sage, Mod Supreme Models, Darth Tater, Remus Atala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., J.D. McDonaldinho, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrumix, Matt H., there's 2, Mikey Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, Craig Sterry, Seamus, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Lauren Redebs, The Pirate King Tuccrr, The Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Right below me in the next few seconds, maybe it popped up a few seconds early, hard to say, you can check out my full Wiccan breakdown. So please do so, hit that sub button too, and I'll see you tomorrow for at least 3, let's be honest, it's already half done, 4 more decks, including the best day 1 Wiccan thing I could find. See you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Peace.